Standing outside in this Indiana sunset in order to illustrate a point, and that is to suggest that organizations today are much more akin to dynamic living ecosystems than they are to the old and obsolete paradigm of static mechanistic clocks. You see, it used to be that companies were perhaps not invincible, but certainly much more insulated against shifts in outside market forces and changes in their competitive landscape. However, exponential advancements in digitization and globalization have changed the game of business and how it's played. Now, just as the cornfield behind me is vulnerable to changes in external conditions, such as the ravages of animals and sudden turns in weather, so are organizations susceptible to external conditions such as shifts in customer demands, geopolitics, and fluctuations in the global and local marketplaces. Business is therefore transforming, and L&D must transform right along with it. In fact, analysts forecast that at the current churn rate, about half of the companies on today's S&P 500 list will be replaced over the next 10 years. So as this disruption continues to deconstruct business models, operating models, industries, and marketplaces, people at all levels of an organization, from frontline to C-suite, must be able to move with agility and speed in response to opportunities and threats. This means learning has become a survival critical skill for employees and enterprises alike. These constant changes mandate we strengthen organizational agility and people's ability to learn, unlearn, and relearn so as to better adapt to these environmental changes and to keep pace through adoption of new technologies and innovative ways of working to help us successfully meet market demands and mitigate competitive pressures. So how do we transform learning to support these fluctuations and ongoing business transformations? Well, to start, we must replace outdated, antiquated, fixed corporate training structures with fluid, strategically aligned, extensible, and adaptable learning ecosystems. Enabled by digital technologies, powered by artificial intelligence, and fueled by data, adaptable learning ecosystems help people and organizations continuously improve and evolve their capabilities as conditions require. They allow us to inject learning everywhere in everything for everybody all the time. This is the now and the future of learning at work. So what are the key components of modern learning in an adaptable learning ecosystem? Well, there are two that we'll talk about today, and these two include alignment and adaptability. Number one, alignment. Alignment means learning as a core strategic capability is aligned to business strategy. As an organization, you should ask yourself the following questions. How well aligned is your learning strategy to your business strategy? How well aligned are your learning goals to your business goals? Are your learning goals focused on creating outputs like training course content, or are your learning goals more strategic? Are they focused on driving results, on promoting the people performance improvements that will lead to the desired organizational outcomes? You see, to be fully aligned means learning is linked to business strategy and enables the organization to upskill, new skill, and reskill the right workers and the right workforce to meet the organization's current and future needs. Number two of these key components is adaptability. And adaptability is required when strategies change, corporate climates change, business models and organizational needs change. And as such, organizations and people must be adaptable. They must be repeatedly innovative to stay relevant and competitive themselves. As one example, we have a lot of talk about digital transformation. Digital transformation actually refers as much to the flexibility and adaptability of an organization's people as it does to the organization's technology. After all, success isn't achieved when the technology is merely implemented. Value is only realized when the people leverage the technology investment. And all organizations today, in order to remain relevant and competitive, must automate and digitize on some level. And their people must become proficient, at the very least, in these new ways of working. This ongoing need for digital dexterity mandates that learning move from adaptive to adaptable, and that it supports iteration and experimentation for ongoing transformation. So you might ask yourself, how adaptable is your organization? When change or disruption happens, how long does it take for your organization to pivot its workforce? How and how fast can your people adopt new technologies, adjust in accordance with evolving regulations and industry standards, and execute against innovative digital business practices? It's time to redefine how we measure success of our learning capability by gauging how well L&D supports an adaptable workforce and an agile organization. The future of learning at work means implementing adaptable learning ecosystems, including technology, people, and process that go beyond training content and training curation and into facilitating quick-to-respond workplaces and workforces by inspiring sustainable behavior change that business transforms as it transforms and these new ways of working arise. This new way of working becomes the nimbleness of our people and our organizations. And being nimble, agile, and adaptable are the keys to surviving and thriving in this digital age. I'm Trish Yule.